We coming. I swear we coming. I just forgot what I was doing for a second. I forgot for a second.
It's still 4:20.
It's 4:20. It's 4:20. We good. You are about to get highly educated with the Cannabis Closet podcast with Canna Queen. That's me, and MJ. That's her. This is an adult content show with no limitations on subject, language, or actions. Be warned. Opinions, views, and expressions may or may not be that of the hosts, their guests, their subsidiaries. Please note that we are not medical physicians, nor are we attorneys, and any information that we share is based solely on our personal research and knowledge. Thanks for rolling up and showing up. You guys, we hope that you enjoy the show today. This show is brought to you now, today, and always by Queen Kitty Seltzer. Queen Kitty Seltzer, pop this kitty, put it in your mouth. Get them today. You can go online, www.queenkittyseltzer.com. You can order you some cans or you can order you some merch. Pop this kitty, put it in your mouth. We got Nearly Naked, we got Lemon Kiss, we got Bubblegum Burst, and we got a new flavor coming out in June. So stay tuned for that. And if you'd like to enter to win a 4-pack, then just comment what you think the flavor is going to be under one of our posts on Instagram. That's solo.to/Queen Kitty Seltzer is where you can find that. What's up, Lil Bobby Customs? Lil Bobby Customs, you were just over on my Instagram and we were talking about that uncomfortable stuff, which we love to do. And I'm glad that
corner time.
It's an uncomfortable corners. This show is also brought to you by CQ LLC. CQ LLC is a cannabis consulting and education company. We are licensed to do responsible vendor, or certified rather, to do responsible vendor training in the state of Colorado. If you, your staff, new hires need responsible vendor training, give us a call, 970-426-5985. I think that's right. Yeah, that's correct. There it is right there. Customer service CQLLC@gmail.com is where you can find us. And this is the Cannabis Closet podcast. Cannabis Closet podcast. You can find all of our links on solo.to/Cannabis Closet 420. That includes our Gmail, our Discord link where you can join us after the show, hang out, smoke, and joke. Includes all of our social media and all of the places where you can listen to us. So check us out. Solo.to/Cannabis Closet 420. And now on to the show.
On to the show.
You guys. I guess we can. We do have. I do want to advertise this too before we move on into the show. Just real quick, we'll advertise this a couple times during the show. But the Rosin Experience Tickets are on sale in Denver, Colorado, May 11th of this year, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Come hang out with us. The Rosin Experience is going to be in Denver, the location to be announced. You do have to be 21 and up with a valid ID to get in. There will be food trucks and vendors. Cash and monetary apps are going to be accepted for this event. There will be no ATM on the premises, so keep that in mind. General admission tickets are still available for $20. 2 floors of vendors, but no elevator. Bathrooms on both floors. Parking on side streets free after 6 p.m. And Queen Kitty Seltzer will be there doing a collab, doing some kitty tales made with our Lemon Kiss and high grade syrups, which is a cannabis infused syrup. So if you're in the Denver area, check it out, get your tickets, and we'll see you there. That's going to be on May 11th. Definitely check it out. So God, you guys, I was in Durango this week. I went in, I kind of zoom in and zoom out usually. And this week was no different. But while I was on the road, yesterday, I got some bad news. And I don't know if it's bad news. Honestly, I don't know if it's bad news. I took it as bad news because if this happened to any of y'all, it would freak you out. It would freak you out. I'm telling you right now, it was the freakiest thing. It was the worst feeling. It was like, I don't know how to explain it, but it felt like my whole life was falling apart in that moment. And I was like being attacked and I didn't know what to do about it. And nobody would like tell me what was going on.
It's like a helpless situation,
Yeah.
you know, like because of that, like.
And it's a monetary helplessness. So
yes. So even, yeah.
So yesterday, I get up and I'm informed that my credit card with my name on it, it's not my account, but I have a credit card issued to me on that account, has been closed. And they got an email about it and nobody really said why that happened or whatever. So they called and the same thing, round and round. Nobody would say why. So then later on in the day, I was just out of curiosity, what is my current balance on my credit card? So I'm just going to look. My credit card has been closed. So then I'm like, what? Why? It says it's restricted access. That's what it says when I go into the app.
Mm-hmm.
So then I call them, but I actually don't get to a person before I realize that also my business credit card for CQ LLC has also been closed. So now that's 2 credit. That's my personal, my business, and a credit card that I'm assigned a card for a different account. So that's not even my account. And that account was not closed, but my card was. So now that's a personal attack on me, right? Now I'm like, what is happening right now? I finally do call. I get a chance to call in and I talk to Kendall, and Kendall doesn't, she says, she pulls everything up and she goes, oh, and then she says, no, we can't see the reason why. No, that didn't sound like you couldn't see the reason why. Why did you say it like that?
Yeah, whoa, we can't see a reason. What?
Why did you say it like that? So she passes me on to Jesus. Jesus also cannot tell me anything. She doesn't even wait. She just passes me. So I have to go through the automated system again. And then I get to a person who is at the same level as Kendall. We're not moving up here. I need to talk to somebody that's more powerful than you. That's always my agenda. I don't need to talk to you. You can't help me. So what's up? So then they pass me on to, I have all the names written down. They pass me on to Shaniqua. Shaniqua is a little bit more helpful, but not really. Each and every one of them tell me they understand my frustration. I find that hard to believe. Shaniqua, did you wake up this morning and all of your credit accounts with Visa were closed for no reason? When you pay your bills on time, you don't make any weird purchase. This is what they said, that I made purchases that they didn't agree with, basically. I don't know how exactly they said it, but in a professional manner, They basically, so anyways, I
We
get to
audited
Shaniqua,
you.
and then I get to a guy named, I think I get to a Daryl, I want to say, or a Derek. I think it was a Daryl. And then I get to a guy named, what did I say his name was?
Alonzo.
Armand. His name was Armand. So I get to him. He starts getting condescending with me. I am not happy about it. But he says he reads the letter that was sent yesterday. So I'm not going to get it for 7 to 10 days. And he tells me basically they audited me and they didn't like how I was using their credit card. So my personal card was last used to purchase a Lego Thanos glove, for the record. And I don't use my business credit card. It's there for emergencies. And I might use it to pay for my website, but I'm not like, I don't really, it's one recurring thing. I don't use it,
Right.
So it clicks with me yesterday while this is happening. It's not resolved. It's not going to get resolved. I'm just not going to have that. And it hasn't affected like my debit accounts or whatever. They're not going to reverse the decision. They've made that rule real clear, but they will not tell me exactly what it is. And then they won't let me talk to the person that made the decision. They're like, no, you can't. So I think y'all are cowards. If you're going to make a decision like that, that's going to affect somebody's life, then you should be able to tell them to their face, not even on the phone. Look how old I am. That's what phones look like when I was young. You should be able to tell them why you closed their account.
Yeah.
You should just be able to do that.
Your account.
I gave 5 people my social security number. I am who I am. Give me the reason why you closed my perfectly in good standing accounts, because I've been in good standing.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I think it clicked with me. I think what happened was that they audited my business account. My business account is attached to a website that says that I work in cannabis. I don't touch it, but I do talk about it and I do teach about it. That account has my full government name on it. They said, oh, I wonder if that full government name has any other accounts with us. And then they audited those accounts. They didn't find anything on those accounts. They didn't find anything on any of the accounts. But when they audit your account, they look into you, who you are, your background, all that stuff. So they, especially with a business, they're going to go look at your website, which is why our Queen Kitty website has, like, we had to put some additional stuff on there, because if we get audited, we could lose our whole bank account if we don't have like these things on our Queen Kitty site because of what we sell. So I think that's what happened, but that's why I'm mad today. If I'm mad at all, I said I reject drama today. I told somebody I was going to, they were like, hopefully today is drama free. And I was like, I'm rejecting drama today. I'm like, not going to do it. So if I'm mad at all, that's what I'm mad about. I think it's just ridiculous. And also, exactly, Daryl. No, I was getting ready to say that. No, listen, y'all pay attention. If you're not paying attention to what's going on in the financial world, and I'm not paying like super close attention, but I live with somebody paying attention. So I get all like the feedback, right? So if you're not paying attention to what's going on in the world, banks are again getting bailed out. Some banks in America too, this is happening, but it's right now it's happening in other countries really hard. They're closing their doors. They're unable to give people their money. They're unable.
Because they don't keep your money in the bank.
Yeah. So people in other countries are robbing banks to get their own money. And the reason for this is like all corporate America and all of this is capitalism is really the reason they keep getting bailed out. And with those bailouts, they don't fix their problems. They pay their executives huge bonuses because whatever, we're going to get bailed out again, right? So right now in America and I think all over the world, honestly, America's not the only one doing this, but right now in America, they're trying to push everybody into digital currency. Well, imagine, if you will, that you're pushed into digital currency and then you don't buy groceries the way that they like. And so they cut off access to your money. look how much control they have.
Yep.
Because look
Things
what
like
just
this,
happened.
like
They
our
didn't
industry,
even, they didn't even call me or like let me know that this was going to happen. They didn't, no warnings, and they refused to tell me what it is. And you know what he said to me at the end of that conversation before I told him that I hope he and everybody at Capital One have the day they fucking deserve? It's exactly how I fucking said it. He says to me, you signed a contract and it states that we can revoke your credit for any reason that we choose at any time. And if they don't like what you're using your money to buy, they can revoke your purchase.
Yeah, they can revoke it, apparently. Yeah. Okay.
Or revoke your credit, rather.
Right. Now, does this, I mean, does that, and that's the thing is, does this reflect negatively on your credit? I mean, as far as,
I have no idea, but I'm sure it's going to be reported on my credit. And so that could affect also any other accounts that I have. It could
but that's
affect any accounts that I get in the future. And yeah, I don't know if it's going to put in a dent, but I think I'm still able to pay monthly. I think I still have the ability to do that. But if I don't, then I'm stuck with this credit card bill that I've been paying down monthly. That, you know, it's a huge chunk of change. I'm not the only one. If they closed listen, you guys, those of you with credit cards, if they closed your credit card right now and told you to pay that balance, could you do it? Think about it. Think about it. Be careful where you use your credit cards and your bank cards, because you guys, I've had friends get their bank accounts closed. They got their money back, of course. I say, of course, like, of course they did. That could not happen in the future. They could keep your money in the future.
Especially if it's digital currency, they'll just cut you off.
Digital currency, where they going to give
access.
you? What are they going to give you? Where are they going to put it?
Mm-hmm.
I've had friends have their bank accounts closed because they work at a facility. I've had friends have their bank accounts closed because they purchased at a facility. What you gonna do about it? You can't do nothing about it. You can't, that's the worst part, is I feel completely helpless. They will not tell me the reason why. And the reason why that they wrote in that letter, which I don't remember word for word, but the reason why that they wrote in that letter is just a bunch of business jargon. It's garbage. It's bullshit. I said, you know, that's meant to placate your customers, your consumers. It's not placating me, man. Is not. This is not. You're not telling me why. Couldn't get an answer. So.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Totally off subject. Because I was starting to, I'm working on a
I want to say, I want to touch this real quick. So I said this. I said this yesterday. I said, oh, that's funny that they want to put us all in digital currency when you can't even use digital currency in the dispensaries. They take cash only.
Yeah. Cash.
And only. Honestly, we should keep it that way. Now that I'm looking at it, we should keep it that way. We should be exchanging cash between us.
Yep.
Our community is going to have to step up.
Yep.
I apologize. Go ahead with what you were going to say about.
No, I was just creating something for for an Instagram post for our flavor guests, and we're picking up on the beginning of May, but not having our launch party until June. Do we want to put a deadline on the guests? Because we're going to start talking about our new flavor once we have it, right?
No.
Launching.
We're launching in June. So we might start talking about it in June. So maybe give them through May to guess. I think.
When dispensaries are taking bank cards, it's because they're using a private processor. They're the owner or the company itself is renting some kind of service. So
Right.
so it's a little different than just, yes,
And
in some places we are allowed to use our cards, but
and that's not always the case either. So even with private services, the dispensary that I usually frequent cannot take bank cards anymore because it got shut down.
yeah. So
They will get shut down at some point if the bank card processor or whatever realizes where that card processor is.
which is just insane to me. Like, just you don't want to take money, you don't want to make money off of the money that is from this industry, but you want but you want the money from the industry. You still pay
Right.
taxes, and you just have to pay
Right.
them in cash.
Right. It's so crazy.
Oh,
It's so crazy.
crazy.
So it's best, dispensary owners, if you hear me loud, put an ATM in your facility.
There's companies that started like an ATM rental company because of there was a dispensary in Denver that actually started their own armored car company because of having to transport crazy cash.
They should invest in their own ATM and also own banking. We should do our own banking. Those people who want to see our industry thrive, who are in finance, should work together and create a banking system for the cannabis industry and the cannabis industry alone.
Well,
if
it
you are
comes
not,
down to the
it would be like
insurance part, right?
it would be like a credit union. It would have to be
Mhm.
like a credit union, and only members can apply. And to be a member, you have to be a member of the cannabis. You have to be a member of you have to work in cannabis on some level. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Could
I
be
mean,
like,
and that's the thing. There.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm making the face because of what I want to say, but not because. Go ahead.
They, like Navy Federal, if you're a kid or a spouse to a person in the service, you can be a Navy Federal. Like, if your parents were in the service, they could sponsor you so that's the only way you could get into our bank, is if you're sponsored in by a family member or if you're actually in the industry.
All these people making millions, and these companies making millions and billions on the industry. Yeah, like, why aren't people banding together to figure this out? We do have enough big players that could start a bank of cannabis,
For sure.
and
Yep,
the knowledge
like
of it, and
the same thing with insurance. Well, you were saying that insurance might be the problem. The same thing with insurance. Why can't we have our own insurance companies like USAA for cannabis? Exactly. So that our product is insured, so that if we take a loss, we may not be able to report it as a loss to the federal government necessarily, but we could report it as an insurance claim at the end of the year. Right? And if we pay into it, whatever, it would be expensive at first because you got to get everybody on board. But like, literally, there are people in our industry or who enjoy our plant, who enjoy the industry, who could really make a difference. And you could just go out and be your own business and create. And I know that sounds so simple, right? I don't know what it takes to create an insurance company or to create a bank, because I'm not educated in those things. But those of you who are do know what it takes. So tell us what it takes. What does it take to make this happen? Do you need like community help, or what is it? What's hindering us from having our own communal and community services?
Right. And if there are companies out there that can insure, some of these people that do crazy things and risk their lives, and they have a section of insurance for high risk. And you pay more, but it's because you're living a riskier lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so, but I think it all really comes down to the federal legalization of it all. They're not. It's called Morgan and Morgan. He's done a lot for the industry down there, but also,
I think about this. We were talking the other day about Black Wall Street. I think about that too. I think, um, I don't know, would it work today? White people would be in an uproar about it for sure. But allies would love it and support the fuck out of it. Like, do you need guards outside of the gates? You know what I'm saying? Like, we would just like be a bunch of white women just standing out front of the gates. You got guard duty tonight? Like, yep, like protecting, anyways. My imagination just went wild and free. And that's on sour strawberry, by the way. So yeah. Today's Wednesday.
And this is what we're doing today, y'all. It's Wednesday.
We're chilling, man. I'm tired. I drove home yesterday in complete and utter silence. I gotta tell you, I've been reading the book. I've been reading the book Untamed. It's written by a woman from a woman's perspective, but I honestly think when I read it that other people who are do not identify as women could get great insight from reading it. And it's a really easy read too. Like she's a great storyteller. Her name is Glendon. I can't think of her last name right now. But anyway, I've been reading this book, and one of the things that she said in kind of towards the beginning of the book was that she tries to sit with herself in silence. And it is like the most hard. It's hard. It's the most difficult thing. But yesterday I drove from Durango back home, which is about 6 hours on the road. And I drove in almost complete silence the whole way. And it just really gave me this like different insight into things. It gave me a real opportunity to think about things. It really like, I was super emotional on the trip. So I was really like deep into it. But when I woke up today, I just had I felt differently about things, Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to sit in the emotion. And that's one of the things that I took away from reading this as well. I'm not done with it yet. I'm on a chapter called Racists. So I'm super excited about this one. And it's a longer chapter. So that's why I didn't just delve right into it right when I got to it. So,
right.
But it's a great book, and it's given me a lot of insight. One of the things that she said in there was talking about how she's raising her children, which you would think like, how do I identify with that? But just like thinking about how I was raised, or how, women in general of like adult age have been raised in the past, etc., and how men have been raised. It was very like kind of like thought provoking, I guess. And she was saying how she, raises her girls to understand that they get to take up space. They don't have to be quiet, and they don't have to, they're allowed to be smart. They're allowed to be strong. Right. And then there's at one point, she says she realizes that she has not done her son a service. She has a son, and he would like be like, oh, I have too much studying to do, I can't do the dishes, and then one of the girls would do it, which is I feel like it's training that weaponized incompetence that we talk about, right? It's training that well, if I don't have time, if I have something more important to do, then you can do the thing that I was going to do, right? The chore or whatever. That's your job, right? To pick up my slack. And then like one day, she said, he had made that excuse, and she was like, no, you have to be of service to your family first. And you can't drop the ball on your family in order to pick up the ball for things that are outside of our family, right?
Right. That's only in service for himself.
Right. And she thought about how she raised him, and how she while she's telling her girls, you get to take up space, you get to be strong, you get to be loud if you want to be loud, right? She's telling the girls these things that are completely against what girls are taught. And she's forgetting to teach her boy that he can be vulnerable, that he's allowed to cry, that he's allowed to have an emotion other than anger.
That he is also responsible for his own shit.
Correct. That he has to take responsibility and accountability, and that conquering a girl or a woman is not a sign of manhood, is not a sign of manliness. Right. And so she did start, instilling those things in him. But, it was just like that insightfulness. Like, yes, that's what we have to tell our boys and our men, because you see how absolutely angry and upset they get over things like rejection or not getting their way, and then they like are become dangerous in a lot of
Because they're given
situations.
everything, told that they're perfect, and then they're
Right.
released into the world, and the world's like, you got a lot to learn, kid. And then they're like, no, I don't, and throw a ultimate
A
tantrum,
temper
which always got
tantrum.
them, what got them what they wanted when they're at home.
Right.
And now they don't know how to, don't know how to
Right. And
handle
they're
it.
taught that anything that they have going on outside of the home is more important than any of the chores inside the home. Right. But I I listened to a TikTok. What is her name? Her name is also Megan. But she spells it in a different way than you spell it, of course. And because you're more May, and I think she's more Meg,
Yep. Mom was
Yeah.
like, you are not a Meg. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, you're not a Meg, you're a May. Right. And so anyways, but she I can't remember her whole TikTok name off the top of my head, but she she sits like in her car or wherever and listens to this radio show, and they do this segment called Second Date Update. And then so somebody calls in and they're like, yeah, we had a great first date and then they ghosted me. And sometimes it's a guy, sometimes it's a girl, right? Both are equally delusional, usually. But there was this one where the guy called it. I've seen 3 of these in a row that were like this, and a lot of them are like this too. This is the nice guy syndrome. There was the one that I recently listened to. He was like, I don't know what happened. We just didn't, she never texted me back, blah, blah, blah. First of all, you're not obligated after a first date, not obligated to text back. You're not in that. If y'all are dating, continuously, then yes, give the courtesy. But anyway, so she ghosted, whatever. And he was like, why? So he calls the radio station. They get them both on the phone. And she says to him, I just didn't feel like there was a spark, like there was a connection for me. And he got so mad at her. He went from being this real sweet guy, like, I don't know what happened. I thought everything went great, blah, blah, blah. And they never tell the whole story. There's always something that comes out when the other side shows up. Yeah. So it's probably the same. It's a syndicate. It's a syndicate show. So it's probably the same one. So she records it and puts it on TikTok. So that's how I see it. But so then he was like, tell me 3 reasons why you don't think this would work. Like, give me a reason. Tell me why. And like she did. She said she didn't feel, well, I felt a spark. So that's not true. There was definitely a spark there. Like, just because you felt something doesn't mean the other person felt something. It was crazy. But he went from being this like sweet guy, and then all of a sudden rejection happened and he like lost it. He had no idea how to handle it. He was like very upset.
And then why is the automatic to get nasty? Well, that's not going to make me like you any quicker, man.
Yeah.
It's not going to change my mind or make it any better if you're going to then call me names and demean me.
Right, because that's their
what?
go-to. I was hitting on you, like I thought you were hot 2 seconds ago, but now you're, ugly
Now
cow
you don't,
face.
yeah, now you, yeah, exactly. That whole like name calling thing. And that goes back to, their child, I don't know, being a child, I guess,
Yeah.
because that's what, so we
It's
did
poor
as children,
training.
right? Name calling and
Yeah.
demeaning.
I didn't want to date you anyway, bitch. Like, whoa, yes,
Yeah,
you
you're
did.
ugly.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
clearly you
Like,
did. But that's cool because one girl said it was divine intervention because she called in and she was like, said, and I don't remember how that story went, but by the end of it, we were like, whoa, she dodged she dodged that one so hard. I mean, she was like, no, that was divine intervention. We're good.
Yeah. Wow. Again, I've for now, I'm just watching from the outline on the dating game. I'm I'm sitting this out right now. I'm just gonna, I'll coach and
because you guys
from the bench.
You guys, hashtag not all men. I put a video up the other day on TikTok because the fucking Dalai Lama asked a child to suck his tongue. They're just doing it in public now. He had to issue an apology. And like, what does that do? What is that? What is that?
I don't understand. What would even, was he possessed? Like who's?
But no, we're not going to give him the possession card. It's not allowed. He's the fucking Dalai Lama. This is like a religious figure that I felt like we could trust, right? And then he's kissing this child inappropriately on his mouth in a public space. Not his child, clearly, obviously, because he's the fucking Dalai Lama. And then he sticks his tongue out and asks the child to suck on his tongue. Like, what kind of disgusting old man shit is that? Do you have dementia right now? It's the only way I'm going to let this pass. And then we need to get you into a hospital and away from children. You can't be around children because somewhere deep in your soul is a predator. And we don't need what?
What is the community response for their for his followers? Like what? I haven't seen. I mean, I've only seen what you've posted.
I just saw that. And then I went on the road. So I don't all of our, I would say almost all of them have been. I would say almost, potentially, but I would say maybe a couple of them weren't, but I would say all of them, almost all of them.
Same, Daryl. That it's disgusting sometimes, all the time. And
yeah, no, I said that too about current president. And I also said that why our grandparents, not y'all, some of y'all, these are your like great grandparents. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Right. Why are they in office right now? They don't represent the people.
Yeah.
They don't represent the people. Anyways, so when we hear this, not all men, it's that whole idea of having like 3 poison M&Ms in the whole bag of M&Ms. Well, if I don't know which one it is, and by the way, it's well more than fucking 3, okay? and I would say it's damn near close to half the bag, not quite half the bag, but damn near close to half the bag. And that's problematic, right? And so when we see that like shit, like not all men, well, then we don't know which men it is. Clearly, the Dalai Lama is not an exception to the fucking rule. Like what? Like when I read that, I was like, are you, what? Like this can't be. Like, is this a joke? It's not a joke. It wouldn't be a funny joke if it was a joke.
Right.
It's just crazy to me. And so what I said in the video was, if it's not all men, those of you who identify as not all men need to do something about those that are making those all men
that are representing you. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them, you guys. There's a fucking lot. I was listening to one of those date shows, and we'll move on after this, but I was listening to one of those date show updates, and she was like, no, he said we were gonna, go on a date, and we were going to just watch the football game at his house. And then I got there, and he has like 4 male roommates. And then there's also like 6 other guys. There's like 10 or 11 dudes there that she does not know. And this guy is on the call like, I don't see what the big deal was. That party was a rager. And I was like, this is because you don't, that's not, if I walk into a room and I'm the only woman in the room of 10 men I don't know, statistically speaking,
Getting
at least
drunk,
one of
watching
them,
sports.
yeah, get it drinking, and yeah, getting fucking wasted, plastered, and getting mad at the TV, and then I'm the only girl here. What? No, I'm not staying here. Are you crazy? This guy left his house, left her at the house for a beer run. And then all he could say instead of apologizing was, that party was a rager. I don't see what the problem was. The problem is that in a room full of 10 guys, there's a high probability that at least one of them is predatory. Is like a predator.
I would have turned right back around.
But yeah,
and
like,
I'm out.
oh no, this is not my game. Nah, we good on this.
No
we
way.
Can't be in situations like that. Trust your gut instinct. Apologize about it later. You know what I'm saying? Just
and don't apologize at all if you're not.
Don't. I mean, if you're right, then you're right. But no is a whole sentence. Leaving is acceptable, and you only get one life in this body, so cherish it and do with, be careful out there. So okay, let's just move on from that, because that's whatever. But yeah, it's just crazy to me. Like, how do you not get it? But anyways, we got on that. Lil Bobby Customs, I did see your comment about Budweiser memes, and they are getting a little out of hand, but also it's hilarious to see people's heads explode over a whole crappy beer. Okay.
I mean, there might be a lot of people not drinking beer anymore at all, period. Or maybe, because across the board, I don't think there's any.
Hey, maybe you'd say 6 predators in a room full of 10 guys. And then honestly, 10 predators, because the other 4 are not going to stop them, right?
Nope.
Especially if there's drinking and it's the buddy system.
Yeah.
So
including your date of the first who left, like not
leaving her there. How dare you? How dare you?
No.
Not like what, you know who your friends are. Call them out and stop hanging out with them. Stop. Like, if you don't want us to see men that way, then stop accepting men's behavior, that behavior. Yeah, I love when they throw away the beer that they paid for. It's my favorite. And then like every like common beer like that is supportive of the Rainbow Coalition. So, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, did I say that right? I don't know if I did. Anyways, anyway, moving on. So we have some history. I'm trying to get to the part. This is just a little. So we've already gone through a few of these. So I'm just trying to get to a little bit further down. So African Americans created bridge. One of the few things that survived the Middle Passage during slavery were the card games. Though most of their culture, songs, and language were stripped from them, slave owners often allowed slaves to play the card game because it helped their counting skills. The card games evolved, and the games of bid, whist, bridge, and spades were born. So those are all culturally created in Black and brown communities. So that's I mean, why wouldn't they be? They're kind of the dopest card games ever. We've talked about Madam CJ Walker, but she developed her hair care business out of her own needs, and as well as the people around her. And she was one of the very first female millionaires, and was a Black woman. So one of the very first Black female millionaires in the United States. Hattie McDaniel was the first African American to win an Oscar, but she couldn't attend her own premiere. In Gone with the Wind, she was in Gone with the Wind in 1939. And thanks to the acting skills of Hattie McDaniel, she was awarded an Academy Award for that year for Best Supporting Actress, becoming the first African American to win the coveted prize. She was also the first African American nominated for an Oscar. However, when the movie premiered in Atlanta at the star-studded gala, she nor any of the Black actors in the film were allowed to attend because of Georgia's strict segregation laws. She did go to the Hollywood premiere, however.
Wow.
That's crazy. You can't even go to your own movie.
Right.
You gonna go watch a movie with me in it, but you're not gonna let me in the theater to watch it.
Right.
You stupid. Fuck all the way off. Oh my God. The first book of poetry was published by an African American woman in 1773. Captured and sold into slavery as just a girl, Phyllis Wheatley rose above her station to become the first published African American female author. Despite living most of her life as an enslaved person, she learned to read and write and studied the classic works. She was recognized as a gifted writer and published her first poem when she was only 12 years old. That's so interesting.
That's awesome.
Let's see. An African American helped make the gaming system line Xbox possible. Jerry Lawson was a Black man and an engineer during the 1970s, a time when there were very few people who looked like him in the field. Despite not having graduated from college, his creativity and technology skills helped him invent the interchangeable video game cartridge. Prior to this, games were hardwired into the gaming console and could not be changed. The invention single-handedly changed the video game industry and made the video game systems that we have today possible. So he's the reason why we have cartridges. I was a Nintendo kid, and that's the only, and then I wasn't a gaming kid anymore after that. Was not into it.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't my thing. So we'll save the rest of those for another day. I think there's a few more in there. We'll save the rest of those for another day. Is there anything that you wanted to chit chat about before we get into maybe some news stories today?
No, not that I can think of.
I think we might be locking Christina Thompson in. Well, we will keep you guys posted and updated on that.
For when we are in St. Louis.
For when we're in St. Louis. Make sure you guys hydrate. We are going to talk to her. What is the name of that bill? HB
1328, I believe.
1328. Which is kind of messing with some of the hemp laws. So we're going to bring her on. And we're going to talk about that. And if anybody in Missouri wants to come on to talk about that, give us a shout. We would love to have you on. So if you're in Missouri and you or somebody you know is well versed in what's going on with that, please join us. We'd be happy to have you. We're going to be live in St. Louis on May 1st. So be lovely to have you on.
Yeah, I would love to hear someone who's going to say this is beneficial. Why? How is this beneficial for anyone? I mean, the second part of it, banning synthetics, perfect.
Great.
The whole beginning of it, no. Is
absolutely not.
Feel. Absolutely not. This would limit so many people. It would change so many people's businesses that are already existing and thriving. It would put so many out of business. So these business owners, y'all need to be paying attention. We can only, shout it so much from Colorado, but it's something to keep an eye on, because once one state does it, others will follow suit. And you have to make sure that your representatives are representing what you want and not changing your regulations and your laws to suit those that, to not suit us, to not suit patients, to not suit access. And it only suits their coffers of, general funds.
Thank you for that monologue too, because I needed to put something in my stomach before it growled really loud on the microphone. I was like, oh yes, let her tell us about it. Tell us all about it. But yeah, absolutely correct. So we would like to have you on, Missouri. Y'all know we love you. And so of course we're gonna have you on. But also we love everybody else too. So if there's an activist that you know about in your area, give us their name and we will reach out to them and see if they would like to come on and talk about what's going on in your state. So yeah, we can't find them all and we don't have time to like look them all up and stuff. So, but we would love to have them on, and we're doing our best. We're working it out. we're doing our best. But sometimes it is easy to just snag somebody that we already are talking to. And especially if there's like, there's something going on in the government of Missouri that could affect the way things work in the cannabis and hemp industry. And so that is worth talking about. We need to know about that, and we need to pay attention to it no matter where you're from. Because like she said, if they do it there, other states will follow.
Yeah. And it's not just, and again, this starts the regulation of, and changing something that already exists in a way that benefits everybody, that can benefit our communities and individuals that can't, and don't want. I think that there's still that division and lack of education in regard to, hemp versus cannabis, or marijuana versus cannabis,
real marijuana versus fake marijuana.
This is totally different, but for always, people would always ask, is this a real doctor that I'm seeing? Yes, it has to be a real doctor. I can't stress this enough.
But
that the doctor you're seeing for your cannabis card actually understands what they're doing for you.
In fairness, though, my first cannabis card that I got, this doctor looked straight like a used car salesman. I was worried. I was like, is this going to work?
Yeah.
He was, and we were in the back of a record store because we couldn't do it in like we were in the back of a record store.
You can always check your physician's license status, y'all. Just you
it went through. Check. I got my medical card and I bought a Chiba Chew was the first thing I bought.
The first thing I bought, I think. I don't even know what I think, because we worked for a dispensary, so it was just the whole like get your cards.
Was it a Chiba Chew, or do you remember those big ones that were like a Lincoln Log kind of one? What was it called? It was a different brand. It was before the regulations just kicked all of these brands out, but they were like,
right. There were so
many good and potent ones too. It was like a little Tootsie Roll.
You're going to see that all of that. We see that change as market, as regulations.
Well, because they put that, happen. You can't even make them that potent anymore.
Can't make them allowed. It's interesting to see packaging from some other states and things that are on the market versus what we're allowed to do, like here in Colorado, like the whole marketing to, marketing looks. Everything in ours is very, very clean. A little bit of artistic, here and there for certain brands. But, and then you see, St. Louis, or you see Missouri, and it's just like the packaging, or other states where it's just like, looks fun and enticing. And
we haven't had cushy candy bars, because every state has different brands, because you're not allowed to sell across state lines. But some states do have multi-state operations, which is why you might see some brands, but that's not one of them. I mean, they might have a multi-state, but it's not in Colorado.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that.
I haven't heard that either.
Is it candy bars, or does that say candy?
I remember those candies. They were so good. They were so good before people figured out how to pull back on that real plant taste in the food. But I can't remember what they were called, but they had knockoffs of like Reese's Pieces, or like Baby Ruth, or Twix, or yeah, they had all these knockoffs, and they called them like Hashies or whatever, or whatever.
Right, instead of Hershey's.
But the artwork was very similar, but just like slightly different. They came after them so hard. And then they changed their packaging to like this, like real, like kind of psychedelic looking art. And then they came down on them, I think, again, because, it attracts children or whatever.
Yep.
I can't stand it when they say that, because there are literal ices in the liquor store like that are like icy pops with alcohol in them. Like you can't, and you can go to Vegas, and in Vegas you can buy alcohol candy, and you can buy like everything.
Yes.
They're not worried about kids.
The double standard is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Across the industries and across the states. I mean, really, it doesn't. If we're requiring that safety packaging should be this way, then we should be able to decorate it however the frank we want. To be honest, if it's honestly, who cares if a kid?
I get why the first time around that company got hit, because they were stealing like a brand, kind of like a brand kind of thing,
right? Yeah. And Hershey's goes out. Hershey's is definitely
they all go hard.
They'll
go hard. But the second time around, like, now you're just being difficult. Like, now you're just being kind of a jerk about it.
Right.
Because they had been around before adult use, and they were like kind of killing it in the market. They were making some good money in there. And then they started pounding us with regulations. And that's when like I said, a lot of those companies went out of business because they just couldn't keep up with the regulations.
Couldn't keep up with it. I think too, with kitchens and such, with the processing facilities, they definitely, I'm sure that what facilities see versus what we see from our side is it worth it? I feel like for them, sometimes they're like, is this worth it? Which again, stress the caregivers. I feel like you felt on Monday when we ended the show.
Oh, man, you guys. I mean, you can take a reprieve if you would like to. I don't know where we're at on we got 5 minutes before your clock goes off. I was just gonna, jump right into some news stories, but I can also do a commercial break. So, but I don't have my cans with me, unfortunately.
Let's do that. Do a commercial break, and I'll be right back here. You got cans right here.
We got cans in the back. Yeah, we need a little commercial break. The show is brought to you by Queen Kitty Seltzer. Queen Kitty Seltzer is no THC, no sugar or sweeteners, and no yak in the back. It is an organic. We use organic hemp and natural organic botanical flavors to create the flavors. It's a low dose CBD seltzer, seltzer water. It tastes like water because that's what water's supposed to taste like. Pop this kitty, put it in your mouth. You could grab a can in several places in Colorado, including Magpie's Newsstand, Cloud9, Lively Day Con, The Roost, Animas City Theater, Durango Aesthetics and Wellness, as well as in the mountains, Pier 13 Liquor in Vail, Bottle and Cork in Edwards, Smoke and Bra in Frisco, Dark Horse Liquor in Craig, House of Vibes Coffee in Silverthorne, and in Denver, you can find it at Second Wind Market and Cafe, and you can also find it at Argonauts. So go check it out. Argonauts is carrying our lemon and our Nearly Naked or plain. They still have our old school labels. And Second Wind Market and Cafe is carrying our bubble gum right now. Don't forget, we have a flavor launch in June. So stay tuned and make sure you visit our Instagram page to guess what flavor we're going to come out with. At least one person in the comment section already knows, and you're not allowed to guess. You've already won a 4-pack. So yeah, check it out. Go to back up. Solo.to/Queen Kitty Seltzers, where you can go to find all of our links, including www.queenkittyseltzer.com, including all of our social media links. Go find us and follow us and give us some love. Check out our website for merchandise, and you can purchase cans from the website as well.
We have some fun merchandise on there, y'all.
Yeah,
just saying.
We do. We have a lot of good stuff on there.
This
show is also brought to you by CQ LLC. CQ LLC is a cannabis compliance and education company. www.cq-llc.com. We are certified responsible vendor providers in the state of Colorado. Give us a call, 970-426-5985, to schedule a class, or customer service cqllc@gmail.com. Oh, man. And of course, check us out on solo.to/cannabiscloset420 to find all of our social media links and where we stream live, which is Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch, and where you can find us later in audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite audio podcasts. Thank you. So we have a couple of stories that we kind of snagged last week. Or earlier this week. Didn't really get to them on Monday. We talked about a bunch of other stuff. But one of them is about Charlotte's Web. BAT subsidiary seeks FDA approval for a hemp drug. So the Colorado-based CBD and hemp company Charlotte's Web Holdings and a British American tobacco subsidiary are teaming up to seek U.S. Food and Drug Administration approval for a drug containing hemp. British American Tobacco, that's BAT, is investing $10 million toward the new venture between AJ&A Biosciences, PBC, and Charlotte's Web, according to a new release. AJ&A, a Littleton, Colorado-based company that makes botanical drugs for mental health and neurological disorders, was co-founded by Joel Stanley, a former CEO and board chair of Charlotte's Web. The $10 million investment gives BAT a 20% equity interest in the form of preferred units, and the London-based company can participate in future equity issuances to maintain its position. Charlotte's Web, based in Boulder, and AJ&A each possess 40% of the joint venture's voting common units. The joint venture to be co-led by representatives of Charlotte's Web, AJ&A, and BAT will file for an investigational new drug application with the FDA and begin phase 1 clinical development this year. The drug will contain Charlotte's Web hemp genetics, and AJ&A will contribute its lab and regulatory services and clinical expertise. To date, the FDA has approved only one cannabis-derived product, Epidiolex. AJ&A's chief medical advisor, Oren Davinsky, was a principal investigator for the development of Epidiolex. So
he oversaw the whole. He
oversaw the whole thing, and he's now their chief medical advisor. So he probably has friends in there too that are going to help him push that through. Right.
Yeah, he knows the process. So
is it 420 on the West Coast? Did we miss it? Oh, yes. We did miss it. Oh,
well, that's I blacked out like right when you started.
Oh, bummer. I missed it. I will light up. Well, it's okay. It'll be 422 here in a minute.
420 every day or every time.
I know, anytime. Right? We're in Colorado too, Danky. So yeah. Yeah, there's a little bit of nepotism happening there, I think, but it could be a good thing. Because honestly, Charlotte's Web is on the up. They've proven that it's useful, it's helpful. I think I want one. I don't know what I think I'm smoking what I want to smoke, but
like, oh wow.
So that's real interesting. It's a super short read if you want to go check it out. It is in MJ Biz Daily is where we got that story from today.
And
Also,
it looks like there's another story associated with British American Tobacco, right below that, and they're, kind of, there's another headline there. So
on the same.
Yeah, it's, if you just scroll
Oh, I
down
see
right
it. I see it.
below, for Canada, they're striking a deal
So
with Canada.
with Canada, so we got to pay attention to this because this is super important. First of all, this is the tobacco industry, so there's that happening. With Canada on this one, organogram portending similar tie-ups with the U.S. cannabis firms. So they're a cigarette maker. We got that right. Tobacco. The cannabis producer Organogram signed a $220 million Canadian dollar. Well, it's 175 million in American dollars. Strategic collaboration with a focus on research and product development. Okay, I'm not going to read this whole story. You guys can definitely check this out. We'll put it we'll make sure it's in the show notes. But here's my fear. I just got this fear reading this too. It just came up inside of me, this fear. Here's my fear. They're going to make cannabis addicting.
Yeah, because they're going to start, and that's where the whole production, the mass production, when things like that happen, then fillers start getting used. Additional things to start getting. They start using. It's not going to be natural terpenes anymore. It's going to be what they want to process and how they want to process it.
Exactly.
When we look at cigarette brands and even just the reports on cigarettes, there's the things that they use. It's not tobacco. You're not just smoking tobacco.
Yeah, like and there's so I'm concerned. That concerns me now that I'm reading that part too. That concerns me. Sorry, this is hitting my industrial. I'm like trying to like get it out of there. That concerns me about that. And so just pay attention to what's in your cannabis. Pay attention to who's producing your cannabis. Who are they working with? I'm not saying this is necessarily a bad thing, but I am saying that we should be cautious as a culture and as an industry on that one. I think.
Agreed. And again, this is why we need to protect our personal grow rights as all of this moves forward, so that you always have an option for a caregiver or to be able to grow yourself.
Exactly.
Have to.
Yes. You have
just
to have
like if
the
they're
underground
going
must thrive.
If they're going to take this into federal legalization and all this big capitalism and MSOs and all the again, it all goes up. We should still be able to grow our gardens, provide ourselves with medicine, and not let them restrict us, because again, we get to monitor whether our plants are moldy, or if we have pests that we and how we control our pests and
biobugs, you guys, biobugs,
and we have to be careful and that's another thing, is like all of this is just moving. It's moving so slowly yet so quickly. They're
not going to. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, they're not going to. They're already embedded in it. They're already alcohol and tobacco are already in there. Trying to. There's cannabis themed. Yeah, there's cannabis themed liquors on the shelves in bars, so they're already putting their money in where where it will serve them.
Yep. So. Already happening. The things that we feared the most and we knew were going to happen are happening right now in the cannabis space, also in the world, by the way.
In the world.
In the world, not just in cannabis, just in general. Today I talked to somebody who said that that it was like a mutual friend of ours who was trigger warning, you guys. It was a mutual friend of ours who was killed in action. I say mutual friend, they have a child together, so they were but you know, like the parents are like now like in a like political argument with my friend, and have also insulted the child in the situation, which is their like biologically their grandchild. Like it's like crazy over the political climate. Over please don't use this memorial page to put political things out. I'm gonna get blocked too. So this story is pretty interesting right here. If you're in California, you know that if you're anywhere in the world, honestly, or in the United States especially, you know that homelessness is kind of getting out of control. It's not the fault of the people without housing. It's really not. This story says homeless housing expansion in LA, shrinking map for zoned cannabis retail. So they're fucking either put people in houses or smoke your weed. You choose. Like what? Come on.
And we're only going to allow zoning for cannabis for so much, and only allow so much housing expansion because we don't, can't put it in places where it will be. It's got to be in specific places where they only because where they allow for cannabis industry buildings to be.
Yeah. Listen, my friend told me the other day that they had to stay in their space. They can't move from that space because if they move from upstairs to downstairs, they're then within the limit, like they're within too close to a school. But upstairs they're far enough away. It's the same lot. It's just one's downstairs and one's upstairs. This is the level of ridiculous. That's the level of ridiculous, you guys. Okay.
Wow.
Marijuana stores in Los Angeles are prohibited from setting up shop within 700 feet radius of permanent supportive housing properties, such as Lamp Lodge. This is such a fucking, such as Lamp Lodge in the city's Skid Row neighborhood. First of all, why you call it that? I know why you call it that, but come on, you guys. It's like you want it to be that. It is that. It's like you want it. It's like name it what it's
like
the
power of the power of words, right?
The power of words. So they're like they're trying so they do anything to loophole and like destroy this industry that we voted for. In most states, this is a vote. The citizens voted for this. We wanted it. We said yes to it as a majority. And then they're like, here, you can have it. And then they do everything in their power to make it fail. Like this bullshit right here. Like this bullshit right here. So in order to stay in business, what's going to happen is any businesses that are getting kicked out because of this new 700-mile radius or whatever. What did it say?
700-foot radius.
I said mile, and I said no. That's wrong.
No, way less than that.
700-foot radius. So those businesses that will be kicked out because of the 700-foot radius will have to reapply for a new location, and then hope that they get it, and then they got to move, and then they're gonna lose months of business due to this.
And hope that it's not within another 700 foot.
And hope that they don't build another something that they can't be near.
And it's already the real estate. Like we're talking, if everyone's fighting over the same real estate that's affordable,
right?
Who's winning here?
It's gonna definitely affect businesses. So You guys, we went to see John Wick the other day, and this is how we watched the movie. You hear how we're telling this story like we're just like reading some of it and then like talking about we were watching the movie that way. I feel like we were the loudest people in the theater. We were like, "Whoa, what?" Like we were like so funny.
Whatever. We felt like the only people there.
It was like 5 of us, so it's fine. So a large-scale initiative to house the homeless in LA is bumping up against efforts to give social equity oh my God, here we go. Social equity license holders and other retailers a greater role in the city's cannabis industry. So they're like social equity holders. Let's hit the black and brown people first. Let's get them, let's knock them down first. Because we already took so many advantages from them.
We're going to just pit them against each other now.
Right,
social,
disadvantage.
Plus, we're going to.
I'm screaming right now at this. I can't stand y'all. In particular, LA Mayor Karen Bass's plan to build and retrofit. I was like, what is this word? And retrofit thousands of single-family homes and multi-family units for the homeless is creating new obstacles for marijuana retailers and entrepreneurs searching for property in one of the nation's priciest real estate markets. Not to mention, if they had already purchased property or leased property in those areas, they now have lost money. It's gone. It's gone. They can't do anything about it. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't house the homeless. I definitely would never, ever say that. People should not be living on the streets in the United States of America. It just should not be happening.
I want to know how supportive and how many people are getting homeless people are getting housed, or if they're just moving. They're displacing other humans for their homes, for money, and pushing them into these zones that they are deeming not good enough.
So when they put the homeless, okay, we have a friendly friend. I would call him a friend. I think we would hang out and smoke blunts. We have a friend that works in the system with the homeless population and I'm probably saying that. Don't cancel me for saying homeless. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Anyways,
their home is where they live. Their house is, they don't have a house over their head.
Yeah. Okay. But we have a friend that works in that system, and literally it's like kind of like a gated off, tented community. It's kind of like if you think about like slums, if you think about that way. And they literally have a hard time getting out of there. So they're not like really, like the police are always patrolling and stuff and like, what are you doing? And like trying to keep that population behind like a line so that they don't interfere with things like tourism and other businesses. Like they don't even fucking matter. It's like we don't care. And some people are without a roof over their head because they don't make enough money at their 40-hour-a-week job, and they're actually working 80 hours a week because they work 3 jobs, and they can't pay for rent because rents keep going up but wages keep staying the same. And so it's just like, and so they're creating this problem. The United States is creating this problem where they're allowing this kind of price gouging of our housing. And then they're also allowing corporations to not pay us a livable wage. That this is allowed because they're not forcing the hand of a corporation. And what that means is they're not raising the national minimum wage, which should honestly, you guys are going to fucking scream about this. It's not $15 an hour. Minimum wage is more like $25, $27 an hour right now.
Should be. In terms of living, like
that's the minimum wage, right, like, to live. And in LA, no, way the fuck more.
No.
You guys, and that doesn't mean, and you know what I always hate about this argument? I'm getting off on a little bit of a tangent, but what I always hate about that argument is that they always, that the people arguing against like raising the minimum wage to like that livable wage where we could like work 40 hours a week and go home and spend time with our family and save money and also pay our rent and pay our car payment and pay our utilities. They say, oh, well, if you're flipping burgers, blah, blah, you shouldn't make the same as somebody who saves your life in an ambulance. No. You're right. You're absolutely right. Corporations can afford to pay, first of all, those wages without raising the cost of their product a whole lot, or if at all. And also people in life-saving positions, those positions, and also I think teachers, by the way, I also think teachers should get paid way fuck more. But no, y'all don't want to talk about that because in order to do that, we would have to like socialize we would have to pay their paychecks with our taxes. That's what our taxes would do. It would pay for our medical staff. It would pay for the people who save our lives. It would pay for the environment around us. But instead, it pays for military grade weaponry for our police force. And it goes into the pockets of politicians. So anyways, but you're right. EMT should get paid more than somebody. And honestly, are you right? Because have you ever worked in a job flipping burgers? That shit is stressful as fuck. Have you ever met you? Because I feel like if the person making this argument right now had ever like had to deal with somebody just like themselves, they might shut the fuck up. I've worked at Wendy's before. It's not a pleasant job and not everybody can do it. It's hours of being on your feet. It's hours of listening to people complain because you didn't put enough ketchup on their burger. You put too much mustard on it or whatever the fuck. It's crazy. Make our initial investment. And I was standing in there and this woman was in there complaining about how there wasn't enough people working. And I go, yeah, because they don't pay a livable wage here. And she goes, well, there's clearly a demand here. And I go, yeah, clearly there's a consumer demand, but nobody wants to work for less than they can pay their rent with. What's the point? And then she was like, boy, get down on their level.
I didn't know what to say about that. When you
like, you can pay your bills.
When you actually,
can you pay your bills with your job? Great. Then you are fucking privileged. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's privilege to demand that someone that's making something for you do it for less than you would be willing to do it for.
Because it's a low, it's, you know, they typed it as a high school job and a low class job back in the day. But honestly, I mean, they're running a restaurant, yo. It's like a whole restaurant. I think you might be frozen. I don't know.
Me?
Yeah. You. Yeah. But you're good. You're
coming
back.
I was I was looking at the computer. I'm moving things around on the computer. So as I'm listening.
So yeah, but y'all treat service workers with respect, because I mean, if your shit's wrong, just be respectful about it. And you could get it righted if it's wrong, but just don't be an asshole about it. You hear what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I was trying, like when just to go back to that Visa story for a minute, I was trying my hardest. I was like, I'm not going to yell at these people. I did raise my voice a couple octaves, but I was like keeping it steady. I was like, I'm not going to yell at these people. It's not their fault. But then we got to the last guy and he was like, I'm the highest. And I was like, you have no power if you can't tell me why. And he was like, I'm the last person you can talk to. And I lost my temper a little bit, but just at the end. But I was, you know, because it isn't their fault. It isn't their fault when a corporation has these rules in place that affect your life. It's the corporation's fault. And they're honestly, like the first 4 people I talked to, honestly are not making a livable wage. They probably have more than one job. Or more than one roommate. So That's
Right.
the other way. Well, you could just live with
Or
roommates,
or
bitch.
live in
What?
or live in another country.
Yeah. Like
Honestly, I mean,
just move.
because
What?
they're not willing to pay American, like they'll pay the low wage to a country that they can pay even lower wages.
Yeah,
So
yeah. If you came here from
when we're
another
talking about
country,
corporations.
oh, they take such hard advantage of people who are here from other places. It's so gross. Anyway, let's move on to the next
It's a big
story.
deal up here
Oh,
in
I
terms
bet.
of the programs, because they have programs to bring young people in to work the resorts and work different things, and it's actually a program.
Yeah.
And it's just, but then not having housing.
Yeah, no,
Or
they cram
expecting
they cram these kids, you guys, they cram these kids into a 2-bedroom apartment, and there's like 16 of them sleeping in a 2-bedroom apartment straight up. They all got bicycles.
And some of them love it, some of them that's what they live for, and
They come
they're
back
cool with
every
it. And then
year.
it really just, they come back every year. But then for some it's putting them in a position to not be really in a cool situation. It should be I don't know, I'd be
Yeah, because
happy to
housing
go
is like
travel
ridiculous.
somewhere to work.
Back in the day when housing wasn't stupid ridiculous to pay for, they could do it, but now it's so crazy ridiculous that even with 16 of them working, how are they saving money, right? They said
Right.
the rental
And
car guy was very
the whole
unpleasant last
Airbnb,
week.
the whole B&B situation that changed, changed the face of rentals and housing in lots of areas as well.
Yeah,
To turn around
agreed.
for these B&B owners to be shit. It's one thing to like rent
Let's
your
not talk
home
too
out
much
to
shit about them.
someone
I haven't
for a
rented one
year.
yet.
I know, no, I'm saying, but saying that the difference between offering your home for rent for a year and never having to step foot until after that year versus having to go into, I don't know, it's just it's crazy. I'm like, why do people do the anyway, different stories that I've been listening to on the travel pages about the horrors of B&Bs.
Oh, look at this. Sorry, words switch gears just a little bit. Trademark lawsuit abandoned against marijuana MSO Green Thumb. So Edible Arrangements officially ended its trademark lawsuit against marijuana multi-state operator Green Thumb Industries. Meanwhile, Green Thumb dropped its counterclaims against the Atlanta-based franchisor of stores selling gift boutiques made of fruit. The companies agreed to a joint stipulation that Edible Arrangements claims would be dismissed with prejudice and Green Thumb's counterclaims without prejudice. Law 360 reports. Without prejudice means that the issue could be pursued in the future. Green Thumb did not waive its right to recover attorney fees and related costs, however. The agreement came about 3 months after Edible Arrangements signaled its intention to drop its federal trademark infringement lawsuit against the Chicago-based MSO. Edible Arrangements argued in October of 2020, claimed that Green Thumb's Incredibles brand marijuana edibles infringed on the company's registered trademarks, which included edible and incredible edible. Y'all, what? Okay, see, now this one, I think they took it too far, and this needed to be dismissed. Because what? You can't put a trademark on
Right.
edible and incredible edible.
Right, because those are very common words to use
Together.
and they don't yeah.
They would have
That's
to
when
sue
you
the
just
whole.
got to let go.
Yeah.
Right. That's like every, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Here it is. At the time, Edible Arrangements was planning to launch federally legal hemp-derived edibles products under the Incredibles name. So they were like, we have to get this back because, A spokesperson for Green Thumb told Law 360 that the term edible has been a universally accepted generic term for cannabis-infused products for decades. True. We are pleased to put an end to this lawsuit, and we hope the court will recognize the meritless nature of edible arrangements claims in considering the motion for attorney's fees we intend to file. So, good job, Green Thumb. That's going to set some precedent as well. You know, they always do. So, that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and again, it all.
So Green Thumb is in here twice because they're also going
I know,
to
I did pick that one up for that.
Sell medical marijuana at Florida gas stations on their Green Thumb. Their deal to sell medical marijuana at Florida gas stations is on hold amid litigations.
Next to, you know, so you
bold,
have those like stores
move.
like it wants to be
yes.
right next to
but
Circle
still
K's,
bold move. It's at the gas station for all intents and purposes.
Yeah,
the gas pumps are out front.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. I would love it if I could pull up, pump my gas, and grab a blunt. I would love it. It would make me so happy. A rendering of a rise. Oh, this is just a picture. It's just a Circle K, whatever. It's just like right next to it. A novel deal unveiled more than 5 months ago by Green Thumb Industries to lease space and open a medical marijuana dispensary adjacent to Circle K convenience stores in Florida has yet to win approval from state regulators and is now in litigation. The plan, which would allow motorists to pump gasoline at the Circle K convenience stores and then purchase medical marijuana from an adjacent Rise Express dispensary, drew national news coverage last October. Sorry, we missed it. At the time, GTI founder and CEO Ben Kovler called the deal a game changer. No shit, it is. Adding convenience is a strong channel in retail, and people want more access to cannabis. Would it cost more? Because, you know, everything in the convenience store is like, you know,
marked up.
So would this be also marked up? What's up, Nate? Do you remember that egg commercial?
I would feel like it would be anyway, just for the novelty of it. For sure.
Little Bobby Customs brings up a good point about that lawsuit. Do you remember that egg commercial that the theme song was the incredible edible egg? I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. I also remember how they would like shoving milk down our throat. There's still grown ass people who drink milk with their meals every day. No offense if you're one of them, but that's weird. It's a little weird.
You know, for me, because I used to drink milk a lot, and then
because they told us that
it started to taste weird.
They told us if we didn't drink milk that our bones would get brittle and be breakable all the time. They told us that we needed to drink milk. They had a whole campaign with all of our heartthrobs with those white milk mustaches,
mustaches. Yep.
That's not what it looks like.
Gross. It's gross.
Wipe your mouth.
It's not sexy. It was gross. No, no.
Alex Trebek had it in his mustache. Like it was in his.
No.
Oh my God. Okay, so I wonder, you know, but hopefully they wouldn't gouge medical patients that way. But I imagine that like eventually it would be adult use because Florida, right? So I don't imagine. So yeah, shortly after the October announcement, however, MJ Daily confirmed the state's medical cannabis regulator had not signed off on the deal, and the position has remained unchanged since then. The department's stance has not changed, so I don't know what that means. The deal is currently in litigation, so I can't comment any further than that. They're like, our stance hasn't changed. Well, I mean, what is it? I mean, obviously it's no. It's a no, right? Williams didn't provide details of the nature of the litigation. They're fighting to get a yes. That's what it is. That's the nature of the litigation. GTI, I'm not. Hey, I'm not a journalist. Okay. So I can say whatever I want. I don't have to be middle of the road about it. It's my opinions. GTI, Chicago-based multi-state operator, this week noted the realities of the situation. As with all Rise dispensary locations in Florida, the opening of Rise Express stores remains subject to regulatory approval. So they're just playing the game.
Yeah. And they have the money to do it. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
they're a multi-state operator. Yeah, they got it. Which is why I don't know why you guys are still paying probably $17 an hour to people who work for you. It's kind of crazy to me. But anyways, you drink apple, but see, juice is, I don't know, juice is different to me. Sometimes I drink juice with dinner too, especially in the summertime. Not apple juice, but I do. I can put down a bottle of Martinelli's sparkling apple cider though.
Yeah.
So
I don't drink anything while I'm eating, really. Like, I'll take a sip of something, but I generally don't drink while I'm eating.
Do you know why I don't drink? Because you were raised in the South. Let me tell you why you don't do it. Let me tell you about your childhood. When I was little, I was not allowed to drink anything while I ate because I wasn't allowed to fill up on the drink that I desperately wanted to drink. Because it was probably like a juice or a milk or something like that. And then I would guzzle it down and then I would be too full to eat. My grandmother says, apparently, I don't know if I was guilty of this or if people prior to me were guilty of this and therefore I had to follow this rule. But then so I didn't.
Which comes first?
I
honestly,
it is a thing. I could eat all of my whole meal without drinking a single drop of anything, of any liquid. My cousins used to cry about it. I just did what I was told.
My cousins used to eat straight sticks of butter. So
stop.
In the Florida summer.
That's even worse.
Hello, Bobby.
That's even worse. You ever see those TikToks where they're like, you can't eat at some people's houses? I saw one where the girl bit off the butter and then put the rest of it in the pan. Or like one that she bit it and put it in the pan. Are you cooking for just you? Because I'm not eating there. First of all, also you're putting back anyways. So it's a whole thing. It's gross. You can't.
Lady is already ready. Like,
yeah, well, lady, we're okay. Let me see where we're at.
She's been going since 5:20, so it's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
So GTI, that was two stories about them. Georgia bill rejected that would have expanded their medical cannabis program. So, okay. Georgia, let's see. Georgia lawmakers.
Boo, Georgia.
Well, okay. Let's see what this says. Probably boo Georgia. This is probably bullshit. Georgia lawmakers voted down a medical cannabis bill that would have created more MJ business opportunities in the state. Oh no, see, and regulated Delta 8 THC products. So I don't know. Let's look. If House Bill 196 had passed on Tuesday night, it would have given Georgia Department of Agriculture the power to approve as many as 20 companies for a chance to grow and sell medical marijuana. Okay, so that part we want that. So far the state, because I mean, you're letting the synthetics in. So far the state has only licensed 2 companies to grow, manufacture, and sell low THC marijuana oil for medical patients for the purposes of theirs is really very limited. Their program is super limited. It's not like most programs that are like open and just about anybody can apply. They have a limited medical list, like what you would be approved for. a limited amount of product, which is oil only. So they grow it and then they got to process it. And it's got to be a low percentage. So HB 196 became contentious, which became contentious legislation, failed just before the end of the lawmaker session. According to political news outlet Capitol Beat, the final straw that irked senators as well as some House members was the 39-page cannabis bill had an additional 15 pages tacked onto the end concerning hemp products, which had not gone through the normal vetting committee. See, so I don't know if I'm against them voting no for this. The final version of the legislation also included language related to Delta 8 THC products. An earlier version of HB 196 would have made the state's marijuana regulator, the Georgia Access to Medical Cannabis Commission, subject to the State Open Records Act. The legislation also sought to address the rash of lawsuits filed by 9 companies that lost bids for the licenses that are holding up the licensing process through mediation that could have led to licenses for all of those companies. So the bill has changed at the last minute. The bill was changed at the last minute to abolish the GMCC and transfer its responsibilities to the Georgia Agricultural Department alongside the hemp regulation changes. So that's why it failed. So I don't know if I don't know that I'm necessarily against that, because I mean, they have to have time to look over the regulation, first of all, including hemp regulation in the can. I mean, if we're gonna do it, let's do it. But like, I don't know. I think it might have been a smart decision to hold off.
Take the time.
Yeah. We always say that you don't have to vote yes the first time. We always say that. You don't. Or even the second time. You don't. At all.
But then, pinpoint the good things and the bad things.
Yeah.
Like why was this added, tacked on to the end? Yeah. Like what? Okay.
I was gonna
doing it under the change of medical, right?
Right. It always disproportionately destroys the medical program. This is an interesting one. We'll roll out of news on this one. This will be the last news story for the day. A former Republican Michigan House Speaker accepted more than $100,000 in bribes from would-be cannabis business operators in exchange for help obtaining licenses, federal prosecutors said on Thursday. The corruption allegations unveiled Thursday against Rick Johnson, who is 70. I don't care. Go to jail anyway. And 3 others amount to the largest public corruption scandal in the state capitol in 30 years. Johnson served as Speaker of the House from 2001 to 2004 and later chaired Michigan's Medical Marijuana Board from 2017 to 2019. Oh, you slimy little man. It is also the latest example of public corruption connected with preferential licensing in legal marijuana, and perhaps the most high-profile case to date. According to U.S. Attorney Mark Totten of the Western District of Michigan, Johnson took cash and benefits from at least 2 companies and later voted in favor of granting them licenses. So, winner, chicken dinner. The companies were not identified, but one was operated by Michigan business person John DeWood DeLaley. I think that's how you say his name. 2 of the companies sought various operating licenses in what was a new and highly lucrative market, prosecutors said in court filings. A third was exploring the licensing of digital currency platform for medical marijuana financial transactions. Johnson agreed to plead guilty and to accepting a bribe, and according to the plea filed in the federal court. DeLaley and his co-defendants, lobbyists Brian Pierce and Vincent Brown, both of whom were charged with conspiracy to commit bribery, have also pleaded guilty. Johnson and DeLaley's charges are punishable by up to 10 years in federal prison and a $250,000 fine. I just paused there because I don't feel like that's like a lot of money for some of these cannabis operators, but I digress. We'll go back. Well, whatever. I mean, he accepted anyways. Okay. In addition to accepting cash, Johnson accepted flights on private jets arranged by Delaney, according to court documents. In exchange for bribes, Johnson provided valuable non-public information about the anticipated rules and operation of board and assistance with license and applications. So he was in it. Major marijuana corruption cases include a California union official indicted for accepting bribes and interfering with the organization. Giselle Correa, I don't know how to pronounce that, a former mayor of Fall River, Massachusetts, being found guilty of old school pay to play political corruption connected to licensing in that city. Richard Carr, a former mayor of Adelanto, California, being indicted for bribery and wire fraud charges tied to marijuana business licenses, and California entrepreneur Elios Dayspring pleading guilty to bribing officials in the state. Former associates of ex-New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani went to prison for a straw donor scheme in which they tried to use foreign money to bribe officials in Nevada for marijuana business licenses in that state that failed to materialize. Charges against Johnson were expected for months, ever since a former attorney sued him for unpaid legal fees in a yet undisclosed United States versus Johnson case in 2020. FBI agents seized Johnson's phone and bank records as part of the probe. And Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer dissolved the Michigan Marijuana Board that Johnson chaired shortly after she took office in 2019. U.S. Attorney Totten seemed to suggest during Thursday's news conference more allegations would be coming. I suspect there may be more to follow up about what, in fact, the results of all of this was. Certainly, what I have described today should give anybody a reason to question the process. So, wow. Wowza. Wow. That's crazy.
So is anything being put in place of the,
I don't know.
What?
I don't think she's pro. I feel like we've talked about her before, and I feel like she's not pro our industry. So she will probably not. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I will have to look her up. But yeah, I don't know if they put anything in place or not. But that's crazy because maybe she already knew that there was some shit going down, and she was like, not on my watch.
Right. This is crazy. And this is another thing when we say, talk about knowing who your representatives are and what they're doing. And I mean,
and also
gracious.
We kind of touched on this a little bit the other day, and I wanted to do it as like a full day story, but we ended up not having time. But be careful signing up with unions. Make sure that they are legitimate unions, because there are some out here that are not there for the workers, and they're just taking your money, and then they're not doing what unions are supposed to do.
Represent you.
It's true.
They're not just supposed to take your money.
Nope. They're supposed to be there for you when shit goes down. So, and also they're supposed to negotiate terms of employment for people that work there and are a part of the union. So union employees usually, if they're part of the union, they get better representation, attorney representation, and they also get sometimes better pay because their pay has been negotiated by the union. So it's not a bad idea. You guys, don't forget to go check out www.queenkittyseltzer.com to check out our merchandise and to check out some cans, to get you some cans. Ooze Life is hosting Stoner Olympics, I guess, May 27th in Melas Cocina Mexicana, Los Angeles, California, and also I guess in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So look for that in your neighborhood. That's what's going on in sports. That's what we had into the sports tab.
I know. I was like, sports, okay.
Yeah. No, because I had some stuff about like the NBA or something like that one day.
No, I know, but I
It's
just
like a
couldn't find
sports
anything else.
tab.
So that's
Yeah, I don't
Stoner
always
Olympics
fill
are
I don't
coming up,
always fill
y'all.
them up for sure. This show is brought to you by Queen Kitty Seltzer. Queen Kitty Seltzer, pop this kitty, put it in your mouth. Queen Kitty Seltzer is a low dose CBD seltzer. It tastes like water because that's what water is supposed to taste like. There's absolutely no yak in the back, no sugar, no sweeteners, no THC. So it's a low dose CBD seltzer with organically grown hemp and organically grown botanical terpenes. So get yours today. We have Lemon Kiss, we have Bubblegum Burst, and we have Nearly Naked available now. And we are launching a new flavor, our fourth flavor, in June. So stay tuned for that and check out our Instagram, solo.to/Queen Kitty Seltzer. For all of our social media, check out our Instagram and comment what flavor you think is coming out next. And for a chance to win a 4-pack with each and every flavor on it. So it's going to be fun. We're working on a launch party right now. Tell your friends, come to Denver for June 15th. And we'd love to see you and have you there.
15th.
Yeah, come do it. Come do it. This show is also brought to you by CQ LLC. CQ LLC is a cannabis consulting and education company. We are certified to teach responsible vendor training in the state of Colorado. We are partnered with Green Flower Media for our online platform. Give us a call, 970-426-5985, or check out our website, www.cq-llc.com, and sign up today. Also, if you want to join us after the show, check out solo.to/Cannabis Closet 420, where it has all of our links to all of our social media, including our Discord page, where you can join our little Discord family. Come in, hang out, smoke with us, talk with us, tell us about life, cry on our shoulders, whatever you need to do. We are here for you. You can join us on Discord. Usually we do an after show for a few minutes on Discord, smoke a blunt, have a good time, laugh, all that good stuff. We only ask that you come in and be respectful to everybody. We are for humanity and human beings, and we don't care what that looks like. So don't treat people poorly because of who they are, what they look like, or any other reason for that matter. But you can come in and be nice. And if you come in and be nice, we'll be nice to you. We won't kick you out, and it'll be a good time. We all smoke blunts. Catch us later on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts as well, or anywhere that you listen to your audio podcasts. Oh man, thanks as always for everybody for joining the show. We're gonna get down to that would you rather. Don't forget, we're gonna be at a couple places coming up this spring. So April 19th, we're just going to be at a concert. But if you guys are at Red Rocks on April 19th, seek us out. Look for us. We're going to be there. April 30th, Miss Jackson, If You're Nasty, we're going to be in St. Louis. So that means on May 1st, we're going to be live in St. Louis, and we're going to get some Missouri residents to come on and talk to us about this new hemp bill that they're discussing in their government offices and hallways. On May 11th, we're going to be joining the Sesh Connection and the Rosin Experience. And on June 15th, Queen Kitty is having a flavor launch party. So mark your calendars and join us if you can. We're going to be in Denver. Tickets will be available soon. We're getting it all together. We keep saying it, but we're not lying. As always, I got 3 would you rather questions. So everybody listen up. If you've been just sitting back and not commenting for this whole time, now you got to come to the comment section. You got to answer some questions and have some fun. So I have 3, of course. I have one that was kind of left over from last time, and then I have 2 that are about that I got from like a would you rather with like concerning weed or whatever. So they're pretty funny. So the first one is, would you rather be able to control all the people in the world? Like you have full control over what everybody does in the world, or just be able to control your own destiny? I already know. I already know. I'm already exhausted thinking about doing one over the other.
I know. Like I was my own destiny.
Everyone in the world? That sounds exhausting. What am I, Jesus? Christ. Nah, my own destiny. I just want to be in control of my own destiny. And that way I could be a billionaire. And then we'll be good. We'll be good. Be just living the high life. Living that high life. Tell us what you think in the comment section. The Live Bobby Custom says my own destiny, he said. So let's see. What is the next one? This one is so funny to me. This made me laugh. Literally laugh out loud. I mean, I just like started cracking up. I just giggled when I read it. Would you rather have arms as long as your legs or legs as long as your arms? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Just have the longest arms or the shortest legs.
Aren't your arms and legs?
No, I think not. I don't think so. We're all checking.
From your toe.
I don't think so. I think you would have to have like an extra long arm or an extra short leg. Where's the measuring tape? All we can see is your forehead right now. Your connection has been a little max headroomy today.
Yeah, it's whatever. I don't know. I mean,
oh well, that hurt my feelings a little bit. Arms as long as my leg. Lil Bobby Customs coming in clutch with these answers. Arms as long as my leg. I think so too. Yeah, right, exactly. That. So because it's the opposite of like a T-Rex, right? Right? The T-Rex is the one with the tiny arms.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite of that. You have like extra long arms. You can reach everything. Like, I'll get it.
But now you gotta move your pockets. Where are your elbows at with extra?
Yeah. Wait, do you have to move your pockets? Because your torso is still the same size, which is problematic.
Cargo pockets for the win.
I'm saying, but like your torso would still be the same size. You know, my friends back in Virginia Beach, they probably still do. They used to make fun of me because my belly button is so high. My belly button is apparently very high on my torso.
On your long torso. We should see mine's really low on my torso. Like, that's funny. And I have, long torso.
Craziness.
That's funny.
So, okay, last one. This one's hard. You guys, this one's gonna be triggering, and I'm sorry, but I already know my choice. I already know immediately, and you do too. You guys do too. I already know what y'all's choices are. Would you rather never be able to consume cannabis again, but never again be able to consume cannabis, or never again be able to pet a dog?
No.
No. No.
I don't accept.
No.
Neither.
I gotta be honest with you. I am not giving up petting dogs. I'm not.
I know. I mean, what? So then I have to give away my dog?
Right? I can't be affectionate with my own puppies. No, I could not stand it.
No.
This will not stand.
No.
I know it's a killer question. It's meant to make you go, But I would give up my own health and well-being so that I could pet my dog. Because I love that motherfucker. Crazy as it sounds, but that's not the case today.
Right, right. And gosh, can you imagine this world without either one of those capabilities?
Oh my God. People would
People
be,
be really
I mean,
angry.
you think people are mad now.
Really?
Imagine if you couldn't pet dogs.
Yeah. Or stressed out. Yeah, no. Emotional support, like no. Therapy needed.
Sounds
No.
sounds horrible. It sounds like a horrible dimension. Yeah, you
Sounds like a
would. I know you
horrible
would.
world.
You would give up cannabis for your dog in a heartbeat. But we don't have
I
to.
know. But then I know exactly. We all be finding something else. You're like, oh.
That's exactly what I thought. I said, well, if I
guess.
can't use cannabis, I guess I'm gonna up my mushroom game. That's what I thought. That's exactly what I was
Yeah,
like.
exactly.
To pet dogs with like a visual, like, oh my God, this is the most amazing. Be on mushrooms all the
It's a
time.
whole nother cafe idea.
Take mushrooms.
Yeah, they have.
What we call them? What would we call it? It's a great cafe idea. Pet dogs and get high on mushrooms.
I mean, they have these cat cafes, but it's not like what you think.
Yeah, there's
the
a
ones Marlon's on too.
there's a place out in Colorado Springs, and I believe they're going to be opening one up in Denver probably soonish. But it's a pub and it's a dog park, so you can like take your dog and like they have food there and they have drinks there. They don't have Queen Kitty there, so go in there and tell them that they should carry Queen Kitty because they declined my offer, but they shouldn't. So that's what I said. Shrooms, it is. That's what.
Yeah, we're gonna have to revamp or revisit everyone with our revamp.
Keeps going
I
out.
feel like that's gonna be a game changer.
Would be such a game changer. But I like that little pub place because I like the what's it called? It's called Pub Dog. Go check it out. I like it. It's a nice place. You take your dog and you can like sit and eat lunch, and you can get your dog a little lunch bowl too. Mm-hmm. It's great.
Crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah,
gourmet doggy lunch.
Yeah, they got like chicken and peas and carrots and rice for your dog. It's fantastic.
That's cool. That's cool.
I'm not mad at y'all that y'all aren't carrying our drink yet. You will. You will.
It's like, do they have rules? Like, do the dogs have to be on leash? Are they off leash?
No, they're off leash.
Because like
they're on leash when you go in.
Just running around.
Yeah, so they're on leash when you go in, but there's like open dog park spaces and they're just running around. Sometimes they're checking out your food on your table. For real, it's a dog park where you eat. Like it's like they're like, "What's on the table?"
Right,
you gotta be like, "No." You gotta like correct.
Right. Other people's dogs.
Sometimes. But most people that go there,
my dog will be all up in your shit.
Most people that go there are pretty good at correcting. So I've not had an experience there where it was like people weren't, actively making sure that their dogs weren't being complete ass hats. So, it's good.
Yeah,
it's good. With that, thank you guys for joining us today. We are going to hit Discord for like a few minutes. If you guys wanted to join us over there, solo.to/cannabiscloset420, click that Discord link and join us in our Discord. But be nice to yourself, take care of yourself, put your mask on before assisting others. Super important, super duper important.
I have a story about that phrase in just a second. Yes, cultivate love. Bring it to you. You deserve it.
And before you want to tell your story about it or not on the air?
So I could tell it real quick. I started a whatever, watching another show, and it's that Pretty Little Things or something. But this daughter said to her mom, I really need your help with this. And she's like, I'm sorry, daughter. I have to put my own mask on and take care of myself now. And she walked out.
It's exactly what fuck I'm talking about. If you don't have the energy, like literally, if you don't have the energy and you have the ability to walk away, I mean, some of y'all got toddlers and shit, and I get it. All right. But like if you have the ability to walk away from a situation when you don't have the energy to put into it, just walk away from it. Just do it.
It's sometimes it's for the benefit of your own health. Yeah, like it really is. You do have to take care of yourself before
you
you can
have
take care of
to.
others.
You have to. Yes, Low Bobby Customs, stay lifted and of course gifted. We'll see you guys on Monday. Love you guys. Come hang out with us on Discord. Be a good time. All right. Bye, guys.